Happy 4th of July, everyone. I hope you guys are having a lot of fun. So today we're going to go over a 2018 Senate map based off opinion polls. This will be none of my opinion because, again, today is the 4th of July. Let's try not to divide each other or get angry at each other, or even at me or at each other just based off their opinions. So today is pretty much going to be a statistically and, I guess, scientifically unbiased video because there's no way that this video could potentially be biased because, again, I'm using opinion polling data, which is just purely the polling data, nothing more than that. But yeah, so I guess let's go right into this video. So we're going to start off in the Northeast. I just made a governor election video based off the opinion polls, so if you guys want to check that out right after this video, you can just skip to the end. I mean, that's what I would do. But especially looking at a thing like this, there's no reasoning into it. You're just going to hear me talk for like 7 minutes. So unless you want to hear things that I talk about in between the video, just skip to the end. But yeah, so we start off with 23 Democrats, 42 Republicans. When I finish this map, I'll show you guys this map right here. That's ugly. I'll show you the map right here after we finish going through each state so you can see what the composition looks like per state. But yeah, so we have the Democrats with 23 seats, no re-election, no election in 2018. 42 Republicans with no election in 2018. To say the least, the Republicans did not do the best when it came to opinion polling data, typically because there were a number of insider Democratic polls, and that was the only data that I could get. So I wasn't really able to make a clear indication of who would win there without using internal polls. But again, internal polls aren't always wrong. So again, I'm just using the data I have, and we're not going to do this by margins. Again, today is the 4th of July. I did not have enough time to go through each state and pick out the margins. I apologize for that. Maybe in a future video, but as we're leading up to the 2018 midterms, polls are going to be talked about a lot, so let's just see how the composition looks based off opinion polls. So we're going to start off with the Democratic states, and then we'll move into the states with no polling data and where I see them going. Not me personally, but where the political pundits see them going and why. I'm just going to say that I trust them because they know more about politics than I do. But yeah, so we'll start off with all the Democratic states. We'll start off in the Northeast. I believe my screen recorder just cut out, but we were going over to the state of Maine. The state of Maine right now does not have any opinion polling data, but all political pundits point this one as a Democratic state, along with Vermont, actually independent Democratic state, meaning they caucus with the Democratic Party, which is why they have that green ring around, which means it signifies they're an independent, but they caucus with the Democratic Party, adding to their numbers. So Maine and Vermont right now have no opinion polling data, but we know with someone like Bernie Sanders and Angus King, they'll probably handily win re-election. Massachusetts does have polling. Of course, Elizabeth Warren is going to win there. Really no possibility of her losing there. But then we go over to a state like Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, and Maryland. None of these have opinion polling data, but all political pundits point this as Democratic states, and I would put them the same way. But again, I'm going by what the pundits say, not what I think. And they pretty much agree with what I was doing before. And you know, once opinion polling data comes out, these will all be Democratic states. New York currently shows the Democrats ahead pretty handily. I would say that one's also a safe Democratic state. We go over to Pennsylvania. The Democrats are also ahead there by a considerable margin, actually, which was pretty surprising. The average is more in Pennsylvania than it is in Virginia for Tim Kaine. Virginia still goes to Tim Kaine with opinion polling data on the side of the Democrats. West Virginia, interestingly, actually shows the Democrats ahead by a considerable margin, which I expected to possibly be a 1 to 2 point race, but it's actually more leading into double digits, but not exactly there just yet. Ohio shows the Democrats ahead by, 12-13% in some polls, which is really good for Sherrod Brown. Number of undecided voters, and he's already over 50%. Michigan and Wisconsin, Democratic states according to opinion polls. Same with Minnesota's Senate special election and Senate election in general. So this puts the Democrats and skyrockets their numbers up to 40 from 23. So 17 seats now in their column because of opinion polling data. And then we go over down to, we can go down to the Democratic state right now, actually, Tennessee. Pretty Democratic of a state. There are no non-insider polls that show Josh Hawley ahead of Claire McCaskill, which is pretty surprising. She has consistently led in every single opinion poll except for one, which was a tie that is on Real Clear Politics that shows these opinion polls. So the ones that are being averaged right now all show Claire McCaskill ahead except for one, which shows her in a tie, which is pretty good for her, considering that most pundits actually think that she would lose this race. So this puts the Democrats at 42 seats, tying with the Republicans at 42. But we do have some Republican seats on this half of the United States. Indiana shows the Republicans ahead by 1%. Mississippi as well. Mississippi Senate Special, which doesn't have much information, but it does have an open primary data and one-on-one data, which shows the Republicans ahead. Florida also shows the incumbent U.S. the incumbent U.S. senator losing to the incumbent U.S. governor, Scott Walker. So Scott Walker currently leading by 5%, but not over 50%. But yeah, so we can go over to a state like Texas, which shows the Republicans ahead. Nebraska also has a little bit of data, which shows the Republicans ahead. Wyoming also shows the Republicans ahead, but there's no pure data there just yet. So that puts the Republicans at 49 and the Democrats at 42. The Republicans are now one away from their majority. North Dakota goes to the Democrats just based off data. Actually, no, the North Dakota goes to the Republicans. Sorry, I switched it to Montana goes to the Democrats based off opinion polling data by around 8%. So now North Dakota flipping from Heidi Heitkamp to Kevin Cramer. The Republicans now take the majority and retain the majority in the United States Senate with Vice President Mike Pence, and they're not going to need him. Utah goes to the Republicans as well. Pretty solid of a GOP state. But when we go down to New Mexico, that one goes to the Democrats. It's expected to go to them anyway. We go over to Washington. That one shows the Democrats ahead as well. Nevada shows the Democrats ahead. Arizona shows the Democrats ahead. California, no possibility for the Republicans there. Hawaii shows the Democrats ahead. So we finish off the map at 49 Democrats and 51 Republicans. If you look at a number of these races, this doesn't look too far off from a real prediction, especially since we're looking at pure data. This looks very realistic and something very similar to something even I would predict. Indiana maybe would be a pure toss-up, North Dakota as well, but again, a number of these states pretty much match up with what I've previously predicted as states for either political party. So thank you guys for watching this video. Happy 4th of July, and I will see you all tomorrow.